As first reported by our colleague Rodrigo Fáez, he was going to sign a 3.5-year deal with Sevilla earlier today. We saw pictures of Instagram. He was on a plane heading over to Spain. Finally did make it to Seville, where he was presented with his new jersey, guys. He's going to wear the number 9. Very exciting stuff. The reported transfer fee, just $3 million. But remember, there are only a few months left on his contract. So, Alex, this is a really good Sevilla team. They're second place in La Liga, only 5 points behind Real Madrid. They're in the Europa League. Let's be honest, they're a favorite for the Europa League just with their recent history in that competition. They got a lot of good players in the positions that Tecatito, you figure, would play. Does he have the quality, current, present-day Tecatito, who struggled with Porto and the Mexican national team, to make a significant impact with a team as good as Sevilla?
I have no doubt about him. He's a Lopetegui man. Lopetegui managed him a few years ago when he was coaching Porto, and he fell in love with him. He's been asking for him over and over to Monchi, who is the technical director of Sevilla, the guy who hires players. And Monchi is like a dating app. Was swiping and showing Lopetegui other options. But Lopetegui stuck with his first love, which is Tecatito Corona, and he's gonna have an immediate impact on the team because he can play in so many different positions. I think Lopetegui wants to use him as a right winger, and that will allow to move Ocampos back to the left side, because now they're missing 2 potential right wingers as Lamela and Suso. But he can also fit on the left flank, and he can also play as a false 9, and he can be the new Jesus Navas. So whenever you need a wingback or you need a more offensive fullback, you can play him there as well. So he's going to be a very useful Swiss Army knife for Julio Lopetegui for sure.
Okay, let's take a breath for a second. Let's go back to what was the last 6 months for Tecatito Corona. Some of the worst 6 months, actually not some, the worst 6 months in his professional career. A lot of is right, and you're right about that, Alex, was Porto, was Sergio Conceição the coach, and the toxic environment that was created by him not being allowed to leave. Whatever the case may be, whether it was Tecatito's fault, Conceição, or Porto's, it was a toxic environment for him, and it bled into his play. It bled into his play with the club team. It bled into his play with the national team for Tata Martino. Tecatito Corona right now, can he make an impact based off talent? Yes. Based off form, confidence, that's where I have my doubts. Nobody's doubting the talent that Tecatito Corona has. The last decade in Europe, you'll find fewer players with more assists than the Mexican international. It's today. If you saw him play against the U.S. men's national team in Cincinnati, he was one of the worst players on the field. Can he step in immediately into this team where both their wingers are 2 of the leading goal scorers of the team? 2 very good players, and Papu on the other side. A very good Sevilla team, a very tactically disciplined Sevilla team. I don't know, I have my doubts. Talent-wise, yes. Confidence today, I don't think Tecatito's the same player.
Just like with Des, though, you can tell he's wanted here. Let me read you this quote from Lopetegui, okay? This is what he had to say about Tecatito. Man, this is from the heart, okay? The prototype is Corona. He is one of my weaknesses. I mean, this is truly emotional stuff here. He has high capacity to control the game in offensive situations. So this is effusive praise. This was from a couple months back when obviously he was asked, Lopetegui, what would you like in the transfer window? So he's clearly had his eye on him. And how about this? We could see Tecatito maybe play his first minutes in the Copa del Rey, round of 16 against Real Betis. So, okay, maybe a all-Mexican affair there. From the national team perspective, Herc, probably important to note this, because you guys both touched on the possible positions. There was a moment where I was like, well, I really want him to play the position that he plays on the national team, because that's what I care about. But the truth is, you mentioned it, Herc, things were so toxic at Porto, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care if he plays right back in a back 4. Get him playing at a decent
Navas
level.
Is 36 years old. He could potentially come in there and be productive. I don't care where he plays either. Get him playing.
And you mentioned age. Tecatito's 29, right? So he's running out of time to kind of take advantage of this peak of his career. And again, World Cup year. The Mexican national team, with Raul Jimenez maybe fading a little bit, with Chucky fading a little bit, they need Tecatito. Mexico needs Tecatito to turn things around. Another player that Mexico could maybe use to have a breakthrough 2022, none other than Diego